Hey there. All right. So we've got a great training for you guys today. Now, you've probably heard me talk about creating the 30-day content map when it comes to your social media. Very briefly, the concept behind that is on a monthly basis, mapping out your 4 weeks of post for the month ahead. And it walks you through what type of post you're going to use, what theme for the post you're going to use, what pictures and graphics you're going to use. You map that out. It is an amazing stress reducer and a time saver. Well, today we are going to up level that by I'm going to be teaching you kind of a pre-step to and an ongoing step to the 30-day content map. Now, the goal here is that on a monthly basis, you're in control of your emotions and intentions and the visibility of your business. And the more structured and organized you are, um, to do that, the better results you're going to get. And again, your stress is going to come down. Your emotional responses and reactions with social media are going to really start to, if there's like a meter, you're going to be like, yeah, not really bothered me at all. But what I've discovered after teaching the 30-day content map for a while is there's been a piece missing, and I found it, and it's creating a ongoing place where you gather your content. So think of this as what a kingdom CEO would be doing to have a content gathering system in her business. So I'm going to be walking you through this, and I think some of you are going to be like, light bulbs are going off. All right. How many of you have probably hundreds and hundreds of photos, and they're all different, inspiring things, maybe quotes, different things that you've considered using or you have used that are in your photo bank on your phone in the albums for posts, but that's where they are. They're not in a place where you can grab them easily and you can sort. So, what I'm teaching you today is how to create a content library so that your core themes that you teach on, because of what your offers are, your solutions are, and the women that you serve, it's all together in one place. And I'm going to teach you some really amazing places to go and grab and gather that content from. So, first thing you want to do is I'm going to recommend a Google Drive folder, but you need a location because if you're going to gather content and you're not going to put it somewhere specific, guess what happens when you need it? Now it's taking you 10, 15 minutes to find that image that you wanted to use in a post. All right. Complete waste of time, increased stress, increased frustration, all the things. So, make a decision now. Where are you going to put that content that you're about to gather? So, for your phone specifically, I recommend that you create an album. If you're an iPhone user, I don't know Android, but if you're an iPhone user, you just go in and add a new album, and then you name that album social media content. And every time you find something, an image, a screenshot, somebody shares something, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I've got to use this. You copy it and you put it into that folder. So guess where you're going to go the next time you need a graphic or right there. When you're creating your 30 days of content, boom, it's there. It's all your images are going to be right there in the phone. Now, for the content itself and other types of content that aren't really that go in your phone, you can do a lot with the phone album, but we want more content because we want that 30-day content map to go fast, be efficient, and effective. So, having a Google Drive folder that's called shocking content gathering or social media content, but it is the location where you're going to drive. It could be a PDF, it could be a YouTube video, it could be a podcast link, it could be all kinds of things. But you know that this is quality content. You're not sure how you want to use it yet, but you want to put it in one place. So, the first folder I recommend, this is just one way of organizing your Google Drive folder for your social media content gathering. One could be pain points, right? So, let's say you're, a menopause coach. What is keeping your ideal client awake at night? So, where can you find those things? Well, you can find those things in Facebook groups. You can find those things on YouTube videos. You literally can go into a YouTube video and search trouble sleeping for young moms, trouble sleeping for menopausal women, trouble sleeping for fill in the blank, right? And so you can get a lot of information. We're going to come back to lots of really key things about YouTube videos, but um, Amazon book reviews, you can find pain points there. Podcast reviews, Pinterest searches. These are all places that you can find valuable information. And I'm telling you, Pinterest is a treasure trove of information. You can literally go in there and search for your niche's solutions. If you help moms with picky eaters, put that in the search in Pinterest. Put that in the search in YouTube. Put that in the search in Facebook. And it is amazing how much content is going to come your way. All right. Put that in the search in Amazon, and you're going to get books that come up. All right. And I'm going to teach you what to do with that information in a minute. But right now, you just want to think about a place where you're going to gather those pain points. What are people saying about the difficulty they're experiencing around that? Number two, how about questions? Finding the questions that your audience asks. So in Facebook comments, some people are asking questions. Be observant. What are they asking? Is this something that my typical person would be asking? If you're looking through menopause stuff and you see people asking questions, those are some good questions, right? You're getting a deeper understanding of what's going on in the life of your person. And now you're going to be able to communicate in a way when you put your social media together that's really going to resonate. Doing DMs and polls, these are powerful tools so you may get other ideas of polls that you could do, asking for workshop feedback, asking for if they'd want to do a discovery call, all of these kind of question related posts, you can have a document that's just for question related posts, or you could have another document in your folder just for polls, different types of polls. Maybe you do a poll on sleep. Maybe you do a poll on, for me, maybe I do a poll on um, business meetings with God in the morning. Maybe I do a poll on um, operating as a kingdom CEO. How is their infrastructure? How is their lead generation going? How is their tracking their income and expenses going? So things that are of high value to the women that I serve, those are great poll questions. Now, another folder, if you're going to have a pain points folder, you got to have a solutions folder, right? So collecting quotes, collecting scripture, collecting different frameworks, solutions, personal stories, different client wins, lessons learned, right? This is a place where the solutions lie, and you can create a story around that solution. Another folder can be a proof folder. This can be a place where you have testimonials. Maybe they're screenshots. Maybe someone said in the DM to you, "Oh my gosh, that call was so helpful. Thank you so much." And you take a screenshot of that. Maybe your client, "Oh my gosh, I had the biggest breakthrough today on the challenge. I'm literally looking at this in a totally different light." Screenshot. Maybe someone got amazing results. "Oh my gosh, working with your strategy, my Facebook group just blew up over 100% in weeks." So those wins, and say, I'm celebrating those wins. Or maybe you had a couple clients and you're like, "I'm just celebrating these wins. I'm so proud of a couple of my clients this week. They had some amazing wins. I'm just," you don't have to say their names. But those kind of things you can use. And here's the power of your content library. You can reuse and repurpose and reuse. Now, we're going to go through the different places that I've mentioned and talk specifically about what you can do in each of them. So, for example, in Pinterest, you could literally search a Christian woman entrepreneur. You could search menopause. You don't have to say women, right? Women in menopause. I don't think you have to say women in menopause. Menopause. But you could get more specific and say struggling with sleep in menopause, struggling with bloating in menopause, struggling with joint inflammation in menopause, struggling with cognitive, brain not functioning as well in menopause, and you'll find treasure troves of information. Moms with picky eaters, moms wanting to raise healthy kids, moms wanting healthier food on a budget. Again, we're in Pinterest. Amazing information you're going to get. Women navigating the stress of having aging parents. Tips for women helping their parents during aging and crisis and doctor's appointments, helping your parents at their doctor's appointments, helping your parents find the right assisted living place, helping your parents vet a in-home caregiver. All of these things, we're still in Pinterest, okay? Um, and you're looking for, questions, headlines, emotional language, things that are really going to help you. Take screenshots of those, drag them into your Google Drive folder or into your social media album, whichever you prefer. Don't let there be more than two locations for where you're putting your content gathering. All right. Now, Amazon, same thing here. You literally can put in the word menopause in. You're going to get books on menopause. But here are some key things. When you find a book on menopause, well, all right, you put in the word menopause, it's going to give you a bunch of books. You could say Christian women in menopause. All right. And so then what are you going to do? Well, it gives a summary of the book. First of all, you're going to read the title. The title and subtitle of that book alone could be one of your most valuable social media posts. Okay. Not that you're going to use it exactly, but you're going to understand the power of the words they chose on that book title. Another very powerful tool in there is the summary of the book. It's going to give you the key things, the key pain points and the key solutions. What's in it for me? Being able, some of those summaries, there's gold in those summaries. All right. Another thing you can do is click on the reviews, especially if you see like a lot of high reviews, a lot of reviews for one of the books. Go into there and look at their one-star reviews. And why were people disappointed? So now you're going to find out women with menopause, why were they disappointed in this book? All right. You're going to get to know what was irking them, what was bothering them. Maybe the three-star reviews. Maybe they're like, why were they just meh about it? They're going to probably tell you it needed more of this. And then I wouldn't have been so meh about it. Five-star reviews. Now, what was it about that made it give it a five-star review? You're going to actually read menopausal women's feedback in there. So really, really powerful in Amazon. YouTube, same concept here. You're going in the search button, you're putting any of those topics I've already mentioned in the search, or whatever your topic is, obviously. Be detailed. Let it shock you. Do not be too vague. Let it shock you how specific you can be. Kingdom CEO women wanting to operate with a Kingdom CEO mindset. See what comes up, right? So look at most viewed videos. Again, look at the comments. Look at the video titles they were using because the SEO, the search engine optimization that someone probably paid tens of thousands of dollars for to get that video spread out to the world. What did they use? What were the key words that drove that engine to optimize that video? So comments are really powerful too, especially when like a viral video on that topic. What was going on in the comments? What did you see frustrations? Did you see fears? Did you see questions? Did you see desires? What was going on in the comments with that video? Now, another one, Facebook groups. Doesn't not just your group, but other groups, right? What is going on? I love going into other groups and asking for feedback, asking a question, doing a poll, and all of these things. I'm not offering anything, so those are usually okay. But you've got to read the rules always in a Facebook group. But usually those things are okay. Ask a question, ask for feedback, do a poll. But in so doing, you are going to be letting them know who you are and who you serve by the very question or poll that you were asking. So, really powerful information. And literally, just in Facebook alone, remember how I told you to search in Amazon or I told you to search in the search bar in Pinterest or same with YouTube? Do the same thing in Facebook. Not groups, just Facebook. You will be shocked at the amount of information that will start coming your way. And you can always turn it off. But if you're in menopause and you want to know what menopause coaching is going on out there, put in the search menopause coaching in the search in Facebook, and you're going to start seeing stuff. faith-based menopause coaching on Facebook and let it show you what's going on out there. And again, we're never trying to copy or plagiarize anybody else's stuff. I always, if I find a post and it's got someone's name on there, I leave it. Or it's got a reference to somewhere that they created that graphic and that really cool quote or whatever, I always leave it. But there are times when there's content or there's something or that inspires you or that you do something similar to, but you're not copying, you're not plagiarizing, okay? And podcast is the same way. You can mine episode titles, comments, reviews. You can gather so much information when you look up your specific niche in podcasts. So, guys, now, you might be like, well, Gail, this sounds really overwhelming and really a lot. Well, let me tell you what's really a lot. What's really a lot is you every day trying to decide if I'm going to post, where I'm going to post, when am I going to post, why am I going to post? I don't want to post. Okay. That's a lot. So, what I'm going to challenge you to do is just spend 30 minutes every week content gathering. That's all. Put on a timer. Do 5 minutes a day for 6 days. Do 10 minutes a day for 3 days. Put the timer on for 15 minutes for 2 times a week. And just go to those locations I told you. Put that in there. All right. Because once you start in, especially if you're Facebook or YouTube, you're going to start seeing more of that if you go back to that platform. Um, so yeah, really good stuff. Now, if you have more corporate people over on LinkedIn, same concept. Okay. Gather the content. This is the deal. You're not creating the content while you're gathering. No, that is scheduled at a different time. Remember, the goal is that once a month, before the next month starts, you're content mapping your entire month of post. So for right now, you know, if it's the middle of the month, then I'm gathering content so that at the end of this month, I'm going to map out all of my content for the next month. And I'm going to be able to use my content map strategy and my everything that I've gathered. And it's going to go so much faster. So 30 minutes each week gathering. You could spend another 30 minutes organizing, preparing. Okay, now that I've gathered all this, let me see. I could do, I could put this in here and this in there. And so you kind of pre-prep your 30-day content map so that it doesn't take you as long when you sit down to schedule all that out. Then your ideas, you can spend 30 minutes turning your ideas, your content gathering into actual posts so that by the time you get to your content mapping, you're just scheduling everything. All right. So here's the deal. You gather, you create, you schedule the post, and then you get to do what you do best, and that is make real live connections with those who are commenting and connecting with you with your posts. You become a student of what you're posting, not a judge and a jury. You don't shame yourself if something went well or didn't. You simply just say, oh, boy, I learned something there. I learned I didn't like that. I learned that worked. I learned Facebook didn't push that out. I need to make some adjustments. Be a student, okay? So you don't have to be so heavy in, I've got to create content. Content is everywhere. Grab the resources that are already there, gather it in, and then pray over it. The Holy Spirit will give you so many insights that you'll be in that content folder, typing up things. You can have in the folder, you can have my post of the month, and then you can pull that up and then you can skip over to something that you created in the folder and then come back over to working on your posts. Now, one last thing as we're wrapping up. If you're sitting there going, well, girl, I'm just running into you and I loving this, but you're talking about this 30-day content map and I really don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm pretty sure that I did a training on this. So I'm going to look for the other podcast and I will connect the link so that they're linked together so that you have that resource below here. And if you don't see it, always message me because I'll find a way to get you a resource about that 30-day content mapping because it's good stuff. Take care, guys. See you soon at one of our events. Join our Facebook group.